Thank you for joining me on this Sunday. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Three big things to cover, and I want to get into that. The first thing, the potential of some sort of spin up in the Caribbean later this month or early in November, which is not out of the question, but there's nothing imminent. But the long-term models are hinting at something developing in the Caribbean. And why it has my attention is because we're going to see some extra moisture building in the Caribbean. So I want to break this down in depth in the Caribbean with our long-term kind of a tropical hurricane model. I'll cover that in this video. Then back here's Rosyln. Unfortunately, this is a life-threatening situation still ongoing in parts of Mexico. It made landfall as a major hurricane and then out into India near Bangladesh. Watching this Cyclone Sitrang, which is working its way to the north across the Bay of Bengal. We're going to monitor that. I want to dive into that further as well. All right, let's get into the Caribbean right now. We have this old front that's nearby parts of the Bahamas, especially central, southern Bahamas, watching near the Turks and Caicos, eastern Cuba, Haiti, and over toward Jamaica, increased rain. We've been seeing some of that as we slide back through parts of Costa Rica, Panama, and Colombia. Showers and storms have been around parts of Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Suriname. I've been watching you for some rain and storms, and that's going to increase further as we get down the road with more tropical waves that will be sliding in. Now, let's get right off to the bat with our kind of number one thing we're watching. The first thing, which is the long-range tropical model. You see some of the moisture, at least today, over toward the Bahamas and Jamaica. Higher chance of rain and storms, and really scattered about. So some localized flooding possible. Trinidad and Tobago, some showers and storms. Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire, chance of some rain and storms. Now, this is by the time we get into the upcoming week. So this is the 25th, so I'm going to be watching this for us. This is early in the week on Monday. Increased rain and storms around, I should say, Monday into Tuesday. And what we're going to have is an old front and then another tropical wave sliding into the Caribbean. So we go from Tuesday into the really next week, or at least deep into next week by the time we hit Friday. So this is Friday the 28th. Look at this. This is what I'm watching. Leftover moisture from a front plus a tropical wave sliding in. So we've got stuff pulling in from the east, stuff coming in from the west. And that's why this has my attention, because in this sector, you kind of get two areas of moisture coming together. So when you get that, you can get something developing. Now, this is a long-term model, long-range model. This is by the time we get into early November. So it's way down the road, but it is hinting at a spin-up of a tropical storm, maybe even more. But this is, again, so far out down the road. But it has my attention because of what I was mentioning. You get the old fronts plus the tropical waves. If that leaves that leftover moisture in place over the warm waters, something could develop. So I've got my close eye on the Caribbean late this month into early November. Jamaica, the next couple days, busy. Rainstorm, 60-70% chance, of course, hot. Watching for some isolated flooding. Kingston, Falmouth, Montego Bay, the potential of that, and some gusty winds. As we get into Honduras, not as much. It's still that chance of scattered showers and storms, but more of a 40% chance of scattered showers and storms the next 2 days in Honduras. Now, Rosyln, that continues to work its way into Mexico, weakening over the high terrain, but the rain upwards of a foot plus in spots. That is going to continue with the mudslides and the rock slides. The life-threatening flooding ongoing in Mexico, thinking of our friends there. Now, long-term, some of the clouds moving into south-central Texas, that is kind of the outer fringes of Roslyn. Roslyn is going to fall apart, but the computer models continue to bring this back to the northeast as a whole. Obviously, once it gets near Texas from Mexico, it's going to be in a completely different shape, but it is going to really enhance the chance of rain down the road in parts of Texas as we get into early and even midweek, kind of combining with our front. So just more clouds, and then we'll watch out for a better chance of rain. Still, I kind of want to see how this pans out over the higher terrain of Mexico. And again, thinking of Mexico. Back here, Bay of Bengal, as we get off just to the east of India, this is moving in. And ahead of this cyclone, and it is going to become a severe cyclone. Ahead of this, a lot of rain. On the backside of it, more of a northerly flow throughout much of India, which is actually cutting off that southwest monsoon right now. But look at this life-threatening situation as far as the flooding goes. So if you're in a floodplain, we're going to have some big issues, or rather, you're near some of those river basins that typically get flooding. So it's basically West Bengal and off to the east, or northeastern states in India, that very high chance of rain. Bangladesh, watching that, still some of that streaming in. So you take kind of Calcutta and off to the east, that's where we're going to see the flooding rain. This is over the next couple of days. So there's going to be high rainfall, of course, very strong winds with this, but it's one of those things. You got the rain here. On the flip side of things, to the west, even drier conditions will be moving in. But with this cyclone lifting inland through Tuesday, winds gusting over 100 right where it rolls on shore, and then the rain 100 to 150 millimeters, that is going to cause that flooding. I'll keep you posted on everything. Thank you for being part of this community. Have a great rest of your day.